You don't know how much it's gonna cost. Are you gonna have a build out cost? What will the employees cost? What will it cost you for the technology and things that you need there? All these things will add up when you're going in to start up your own brokerage. So it's important to know what these things are gonna cost. Hi, I'm Ryan Finch, one of the co-founders of First Class Real Estate. Thanks so much for joining on our video. When you're going to figure out what it's gonna cost to start up your brokerage, I usually like to use the inverse as my thinking. And the first thing is how much is it costing you not to? Every day you're staying at another brokerage, paying all of that money to that brokerage could be an opportunity for you to move into opening your own brokerage. Now, with that said, if you're selling 3 homes a year, getting the startup cost of your brokerage and moving to that other thing may not be something that you want to factor in and figure out. You may not be ready for that. However, if you're doing a large amount of production and you're paying a lot of money to the brokerage, you do want to figure out what it's costing you to be at that brokerage and now dig into what it would cost to open a brokerage. But I've got some news for you. The news for you is that everything in the world is changing. There's disruption going on everywhere, and there's an opportunity for you somewhere for you to be able to start up your own brokerage with less than you think. And I've got some tips and ideas of how you can do that. The world's crazy today. You can start up a brokerage for bare skin and bones. It takes hardly anything. What you'll think is you need a building, but in most cases to open your own brokerage, you can run out of your own home office and it's tax deductible. And so when you're running out of your home office with the right technology, you could technically scale your whole state with your own business without even having to build out a space. If you want to build out a space, in today's climate right now, construction's really high, materials are really high. It may not be the right time, but it doesn't mean it's not the right time for you to open a brokerage. You could open it today, start it as a virtual branch without the build out and without the construction. And then when you get into the profit, you can decide where and how much you want to spend on opening your own brokerage. There are skinny ways to open up a real estate brokerage to getting where your costs per agent are low, so you don't have all those technologies each month without having the agents or the production. One of the next factors, and the main factor you're probably gonna have to figure out, and this is in any business, is what is the employee cost? So when you decide your vision, which we talked about in a previous video, come up with what it's gonna cost you to operate your employees based on what you want to provide and based on what they're going to do. So are you inputting listings for them? Are you putting their contracts in a system? Are you marketing? Do you have marketing going out for them? Are you putting together the creation of content for them? Are you doing closing coordination for them? Figuring out each of these things and then figuring out how much that's going to cost you. It can be a set fixed rate versus a variable rate, which can allow you to then know where your benchmark is of profitability. Or there could be a more profitable model that allows you to scale with variable cost and then move into a place of where you make a fixed cost, such as you could have closing coordination outsourced so you don't need that employee on staff. If it's $200 a closing and you have 3 closings, it's $600. If you have an employee and you're paying them $3,000 a month and you have 3 closings, that's $1,000 a closing. When you're factoring in what it's gonna cost you, what you really wanna factor in is what your run rate or your operating costs are gonna be each month. And so is it gonna be 3 months before you're in profitability? How many sales you're gonna have to do to how many are gonna be sales by people you're gonna bring in. Maybe you've already got a lot of production, you already know that. If you're paying $3,000 a month now to a brokerage, when you could be paying $3,000 a month to run your own brokerage and scale up profitably, that's a good place to be to figure out those numbers. We've found that people are able to run as low as $1,000 a month or less their own brokerage with what it costs to operate our skinny model. You'll have to factor in what it would cost for our franchise fee, but we have found that our franchise fee is lower than what you would pay in a cap per year. Most people don't understand that. They're gonna pay more in a cap than it costs to pay for a franchise fee, which is 5 years long. So don't get wrapped around the upfront cost of something like that, because you really have to look at the annualized and the multi-annual cost that goes into that. A lot of this could seem overwhelming with what you're gonna have to pay for, what you're gonna skinny back, and then how you're gonna provide value to an agent. Don't worry. You can scale up as you go. You can add pieces as you go. Two of the main factors that you're gonna have have of cost are accounting and marketing. Part of what we did was we packaged those in our franchise model. But if you don't go with us, you would need to figure out who's gonna do the marketing. You won't just wanna hire someone off of the street to go in and market, because this is your brand, this is your business. And if you end up having to spend more time directing them on what you need, then it's gonna cost you in the growth of your business. The same for that applies for accounting. You need to get your cost of accounting down, because as you're doing transactions and paying money out, you don't wanna pay too much money for accounting, because now you're gonna end up eating up the money to pay someone to pay people, and now that eats into your profit. Amazon said it best. They said you need to stay close to the numbers and track the data, right? So when you're doing that, you need some type of technology that's gonna allow you to see which agents are producing, who's using your mortgage, who's using your title, who is converting leads, which lead types are getting converted, what your ROI on that spend is. All of that probably seems daunting, and you're saying, I'm not a numbers person, I don't know, I'm a salesperson. I get it, I understand it. We put together technology that's included in our franchise model that gives you the ability to track all of that without doing anything. It's just there, you open it up. I'm like you, I'm not the guy that wants to go in and figure out all that data, but if I can click a button and I have the information, I now can make the right business move to figure out that information. We talk about more of that in our Discovery Day and give you a sneak peek into what that technology looks like. You can go on to our Discovery Day, look at everything we have and go create it on your own. If you find out that what we're providing is valuable and it will help your business, we'd love to tell you more.